What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the JuveCorner cast. Cambiaso to Manchester City in January. We will cover that momentarily. But before we get into it, make sure to like, subscribe, push notifications for more daily awesome videos just like this one. My name is Gio, and I got Angelo here, and we got all your Juve news right now. Yes, everybody, and welcome back to the Juve Corner Cast, everybody. Like I said, my name is Gio. We got Angelo here as well for this one, and we're going to talk about Cambiaso to Manchester City for supposedly 60 to 65 million. I don't know, Angelo. What are your thoughts about this move? I don't think, like I said, I think we should. He's worth like more, But what do you think? What do you think?
For sure, no, definitely. I feel we got to get our money from for his worth. Definitely needs to be sold at the right price. I mean, after last game, it was a little shaky performance from him, so it's definitely not a good look for the Juventus side because when you're trying to you say put a player out there or another club is looking at you, you're trying to get the best amount of money for the player and hoping they're going to be at their best. Of course, there are off days for everybody who's playing the game, but that does affect your image. So it's interesting. I mean, you with any player though, you have to get the right price because you have to we have to any we have to get some sort of advantage from either giving a player away, selling the player, or keeping the player. There has to be some sort of advantage for the club. And of course, when it comes to selling the player, it's getting the right price because then we could put the money somewhere else towards another player or just internally and keep it in the organization and improve other areas of the club. But like you said, Gio, for the right price, it's definitely a consideration.
Yeah, no, and I'm actually going to read some news for everybody to actually hear about what's going on with this Cambiaso situation to Manchester City. Supposedly, Juventus won 80 million, no less than 80 million for Cambiaso to leave in January. So, like I said, it's also reported by Fabrizio Romano that it says Manchester City have scheduled a direct contact with Juventus to discuss about Andrea Cambiaso, but no bid is made yet from Manchester City. It also says that City will decide only after the Marmoush deal will be sealed, and as that's almost done with the Eintracht, which is actually done when we're recording this video, or it's already done. So supposedly, and the other news as well, if this is from Fabrizio Romano again as well, Manchester City will have the direct contact, it says, with Juventus on Friday. So, like I said, it's today, when we're also doing that. So, like I said, um, let's see what happens. I'm really like it all depends. I think on the price. That's number one. Again, it's similar to the Araujo do. But it all depends on the price. It all depends on if Cambiaso really wants to go to Manchester City. Listen, I mean, there was also rumors about him going to Real Madrid, right? Him rejecting Real Madrid twice, saying that he has a contract with Juve till 2029. He wants to stay. He wants to be like a Juve legend here, which I think that's good. Especially because Cambiaso is an important player for this team, and like I said, it's really concerning for Manchester City to come out of the blue and already, want to offer because they're getting rid of Kyle Walker. So, very interesting on how
But
this is going to really play out. But I hope he doesn't leave, because I think that he's a really important player for us going up, going forward. Even though he hasn't been at his best, but I still think that he will be an important player. Which that leads me for you, Angela, as well. Um, with the circumstances that's happening right now, should we actually sell Cambiaso or should we keep him?
well, you have to look at it. If they're talking about 80 million, that's definitely a significant amount of money. But you also got to see he's also a young player.
Yeah.
Could this player he's shown good things for the club? Could this be a person that we can that we can keep developing and really make him, like you said, a Juventus legend for this? Because it's definitely a you got to look at the long term. Although the money, yes, would be very helpful in the short term, but also you got to look at the market. What is there to grab with that 80 million? Is it worth putting that money out there, trying to find someone else? Because once you sell him, you're gonna have to find someone in for that role. You
Yeah.
already have somebody for that role already who does a good job, I feel. Personally, other people may have a different opinion there, but like you have a player that's young. There's definitely a future with him. He's got good potential. I feel personally that he's dedicated to the club. Like he's came out and said he wants to become a Juventus legend. That's definitely a positive personality trait that you want to see from your players is that they're striving to stay at the club long term and really become their best within their team. So
Yeah.
I know short term 80 million is a lot of money, but then you're also going to have to look for somebody once you get rid of them. And you're not really going to be walking away with 80 mil because you're going to have to buy someone with that money that you're getting for him. So personally, I would like to see him at Juventus. I know 80, like I said, I know 80 million is a lot and you could do a lot with 80 million, but also at times you can't.
Yeah.
So
No. Exactly.
it's definitely a catch there. But me personally, I feel I believe in the young players. I believe that there's potential with them. Let them grow and really become a part of the club. And who knows? There's time for him. If he grows exponentially, then maybe later down the line when he's a little older but still young enough to if there's a chance for him to be sold, you could even get even more money for him and then maybe
Exactly.
another young fullback coming in to fill
Yeah.
that position. So I say right now keep him, let him grow, and then reevaluate later on. I do see a future with him at Juventus for sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, I even said this, why not just keep him, let him grow at the club more, let him really become like a superstar. And then when he's really a superstar, then you could reevaluate the amount of offers that come in from the different clubs, which is, I think, the best stuff in this case, the circumstance, because if you sell a Cambiaso now for like 80 million, right? You're gonna have to go get somebody else with that type of caliber or even better, right, than Cambiaso. So which and there's really not that much out there on the market at the moment, really, unless it's like an unknown player that, for example, that Junsley just discovers right out of his hat. But yeah, no, for me, keep him, and then reevaluate it, the next years. But I just think that this is like a wrong timing, especially there's a lot of teams, including Real Madrid, for the like he rejected Real Madrid twice. So I mean, listen, I think he's going to end up staying at this Juve, and I don't think that Juve is really going to really want to sell him. I mean, 80 million. It all depends on if Manchester City even offer a little bit more than 80. Then we'll see what happens. Then if there's like a confirmation that they have an agreement, or even if Cambiaso has an agreement with Manchester City, that shows that okay, now I think that things are starting to move into Manchester City's favor. If the player is going with the agreement, I think Juve is gonna sell him. But I think it all
I
depends on Cambiaso in this deal. It all depends on him, on what he wants. If he wants to stay at Juve, he can stay at Juve. But if he wants to go to Manchester City, let's see. I mean, if he agrees to that deal, like I said, then that means that Juve is most likely going to accept that offer if it's an 80 million offer. So, like I said, we'll see what happens. I say, in my opinion, to like I said, keep him to like the end of the season, keep him to the next couple of seasons. Wait till he's like that true superstar that everybody's been talking about. Like even I say that he's going to become a really good superstar as well for this team. So let's see in the next years, reevaluate him. Then maybe we could sell him for more money than 80. Maybe he could be, worth 115, 110, maybe even 100 million. Which, like I said, is always possible in the future because he's still young, he's still very talented, and he's very good with going forward with the ball. So,
I
100%.
I also I also feel that there's other areas that Juventus need to patch before
Yeah,
looking at that. I feel like that's an area that's good right now. We don't need to really mess with that. We have other areas within the team that need the work, that need to be fixed before you're like why are you going to mess with something that's already fine? There's been knock on wood, there's been no issues in that part of the team. Let's fix the areas and search for the players that need to be put in the areas that are the pieces that are missing for the team. So I'm really not a huge fan of them getting rid of him. I really see a future for this youngster in the club.
yeah, no, 100%. And I really think that he's actually going to really stay at Juve, because he's been a Juventino since he was a kid. So, like I said, um, it all depends on the first offer, what's going to happen with Manchester City, and also if Cambiaso, agrees to their terms, and agrees that if he wants to go to Manchester City. That's, I think, the only way that I think Juve will let him go is if the player doesn't want to stay. That's the only reason, because I think they're going to pull like a Napoli with what happened with the Kvara deal, right? But yeah, no, 100%. I think that if we could see Cambiaso stay for a couple more years and then reevaluate him in the future, I think that that'll be the smarter decision to do that instead of like pulling a big piece out of the out of basically the puzzle. Meanwhile, we have like a lot of holes in this team. For example, in the center back, right? Including in still my opinion, we still have a problem with the striker unless Colomani changes something, right? So we'll see what happens. And like I said, everybody in the chat, I want to hear what you think. If you think that Cambiaso is actually going to be going to Manchester City or not. I mean, like I said, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Like and subscribe, share the content, everybody. 1K subs, like let's go. Like, come on, guys. 1K subs. We're gonna be doing the giveaway if we hit 1K subs. So let's go. Angelo, any thoughts on the 1K subs before we close everything?
Look, I mean, I definitely want to hit that milestone. I think it'll be great for not only us, for you guys. As you've seen, we've done giveaways. So if we hit our milestones and we keep growing the platform that we've created, then we could do even bigger giveaways. That's our way of giving back to you guys. So it's not just us achieving something. You guys have the opportunity to gain something as well. And I'd like to also close this about Cambiaso. You have a player, like you said, that's been a Juventini his entire life. That the personality of the player is just as important as what the player can do with the ball on the pitch. If you have a player that's dedicated to the club, that's loved it ever since it's younger, you could see the dedication that the player has to really become something special within the club. And it's truly hard to find players like that today that have the talent and also the love for the club, not for the money, but for the love, that pride when he puts on the jersey every time to play as hard as he can. And yes, some days he may be off, as we've seen, but the pride and the determination to win with this club is there, and
Yeah.
that's truly, I think, a gift and some a gift and a real thing you can't get rid of. That's something you want to keep within your club because it will spread to the other players. That energy will truly make this team better when you have someone that's dedicated to the club and is really showing it every time they're out on the pitch. But that's my closing thoughts on the Cambiaso deal.
Yeah, guys, like I said, you heard him. Let's keep it going, everybody. 1K is a milestone. Let's go. We'll keep going. We're almost to 700. Let's keep it going, everybody. Share the content. As always, fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. Ciao tutti.
Ciao tutti.